Pie in the Sky Media.
Three, two, one. Hello, welcome back, Criminal Mischief Nation, to another bonus episode of Criminal Mischief with Carolyn and Brandon. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I hope you're planning something special and fun and peaceful, and that if you have any relatives that want to pick fights with you, that you just say, you know what, I guess you're right. You've convinced me. And then walk away and just go eat more mashed potatoes. My best advice for family get-togethers this holiday season.
Your journey is like,
yes, I'm evolving.
10 years ago, like 5 years ago,
Fist
you would have
fights.
been like,
yes, fist fights. Now it's like, hey, wow, I guess you're right. You've convinced me. Is there any more pudding? That's what I've been like rehearsing, those lines of dialogue. So
okay, you're gonna be by yourself, so of course you bullshitter. You're such a bullshitter. Total.
I forgot I told you that. Oh well, I'm exposed.
You know what?
No,
Steel
I'm
cat,
going
baby.
to like 4 different friends. Like I've got a whole day planned, so I'm gonna be.
You are so insane.
I'm going to be seeing a lot of people, but I.
What about your rice roni and hot dogs? What was that all
That's what
about?
I'm eating, but that's all I'm going to eat on my own. But I'm going to go to these houses, my friends' houses, just to say hey and to kind of see what they've got going on. My brother's coming up from the beach, so he's my
You are like the most dramatic person ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, let's talk about
I'm
this.
I'm glad that in the last 7 days you went from this is the first Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I was trying to convince myself that I was sad for my, upcoming loneliness, but I'm actually I'm not sad.
Well, because you're not going to be alone. I think that's
listen. Is there a chance I just stay home and watch football? Yes. There is 100% a chance of it. If my brother shows up with like a pizza, then all bets might be off. But
I hope he does show up. That'd be fun for you.
Yeah,
That'd be
it'd be a
great.
lot
Some
of
bro
fun.
time.
It'd be a
Good.
lot.
Good. Well,
But
I
anyway,
made.
let's talk about this because
Okay.
I have kind of a heart out here in a little while, but I want to get to this.
Okay. Let's do it.
It's fascinating, all of
Mhm.
this going on, and listening to you read from the document. Again, it's one-sided. There's no one defending the various points. We have to take that into consideration. But it would really seem that she has her shit together and that they've placed a timeline. They've reconstructed a timeline that, according to the document, is really damning. And if it's half true, Jesus Christ, there could be, this won't last as a civil matter. There could be criminal charges if any of these things prove to be true. And just the fact that where the wounds were on the deceased, or at what they say up there, the departed, the wounds on the departed, face and back of the head. He got punched in the mouth and fell back and died. Like that's happening in Boston right now in a bar fight. That's the shit that goes on up there. And not just in Boston. It's happening everywhere. I mean, that's almost like a cliche. Manslaughter, it was a bar fight and he fell back, hit his head, like there was no intent. It wasn't like first
So
or
you
second
think
degree
that
murder.
there was the fist fight and then the dog? Because like it's unclear, like was there a fist fight? Like, because it's like, what is the motive? Like, why would they do this? That's
Couple
the
of
thing
things.
that like,
All right, let me
yeah, what do you
paint this
think?
picture for you, right?
Okay.
For a bunch of ego-driven cops who are used to controlling people and people doing exactly what they tell them to do at all times. Get a bunch of them together. They're drunk as hell. Let's say the deceased is just acting like a dick and spooks the dog. The dog attacks him.
Mm.
The owner of the dog might say, hey, whoa, he doesn't mean it. The dog's not going to hurt you. But remember, it's elevated. People are drinking. It's late at night. And so the deceased starts throwing swings or kicking the dog. And that pisses off the dog owner. And that canine loyalty is exacerbated because of the alcohol. And he goes, "You don't touch my fucking dog." Whack. Knocks him one. Guy falls back and dies. Wow, now we're fucked. So that could explain. I know guys who've beaten people up because they've kicked their dog. I do. I could name two of them right now. And it's ridiculous, but I love my pets also. And I don't know if I would punch someone in the face if they came at my dog, but I would try to protect my animals, you know? Um, or let's say the other thing happened. Say there's a fight about
Well, it
something.
sounds like John O'Keefe needed protecting. This dog had bit people before and
Sure.
other animals.
Yeah.
And, like in
Yeah.
that scenario, he goes in there, the dog, you know, attacks him and he's trying to defend himself. And,
Mhm.
I mean, it's an interesting, how that dog and how that potential
Right.
fight
But
or alleged
it could
fight.
be the fight happened over something else, something stupid, and the same result. He gets hit in the face, hits his head, he's not moving. And then the dog freaks out because that's something new and something different. And while they're all getting their shit together, the dog does what the dog kind of freaks out and attacks him. Um, I don't
You
really
know
know
what?
how to square that circle, but there are a couple of different possibilities.
No, I mean that's a really good point, but what really struck me was if, obviously this is alleged and all of that, but if this were true, how quickly they just Karen Reed became disposable to them.
100%.
Like
That's
not
the right
only was
word.
she disposable, but like
Scapegoat.
I feel like we've been talking about this like recently more about this kind of hatred toward women that expresses itself in a certain way. Like that one, like the Fear episode where the guy was like, bitch, and like did that kind of like the
Yeah.
way every woman who's ever heard, or most women who've heard, if they heard that guy saying that, they would know exactly that kind of venom and
Mhm.
vitriol and misogyny in that one word and the way that that was said. And I feel like those texts between Proctor and those aren't new, we've heard those before,
Yeah.
but like in some total, when you look at all of what they put together and just the the hubris to think that he could just speak this way about her with all of his fucking buddies and all, and it's just so, this looks so bad for
Yeah.
the Commonwealth. Like they are gonna pay no matter what, you know?
I think when you've originally covered this, I remember having a realization that I'll repeat now, like with my brother and like two of my other really close friends, whenever someone gets caught doing with something disgusting over text, we always like joke around. We're like, "Oh man, we just need one HR person to see our text and we'd be gone." Because we make off-color jokes. So I'm sure maybe you might not. You're a better person than I am. But like guys are dumb and we text stupid things. Um, uh, but then I hear this and I went, "Oh, I'm not that." Right? Like I suddenly feel better about myself and that the joking text that I make with my friends, while, off color and stupid and juvenile, they're not misogynistic. They're not like
Yeah.
disgusting. They're not,
Yeah.
I'm looking for nudes or making fun of a medical condition it's just like,
I mean,
so if
and I'm not trying to act all like highbrow, but just the whole balloon thing, like I had no idea what that
Yeah,
was. Like
see,
it
those are the
just,
kind of jokes that my friends and I make because it's silly. It's stuff that you get from like Family Guy. Right? We watch Family Guy. Those jokes are funny. We try to repurpose them and we sound stupid, but
mm.
we understand each other. So like, ah, yeah, yeah, good
But
one.
I mean,
Good
I
shit.
guess if you're in the company of people who are interested in that, like you're not,
Who understand that silly
that
juvenile
that
sophomoric male vernacular? Yes.
right, like, but like to your point, this is not that. This is
No.
something so like
It's so
entitled
elevated and
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 vile
evil and
and hoping that she killed herself. Like he
hoping
doesn't
see, and
even
that's the thing right there.
know her.
And you know that he means it.
You know that he means
You
it.
know that he means it, and you know that and and unfortunately, uh, he's not unique. You
No.
have to understand that he's talking to people who understand that and talk the same way. from a position of power in law enforcement.
I know. And
Yeah.
that's what is this. And I think that, like, okay, let me just say, John O'Keefe did not deserve this. His poor family, like, they just,
No. Oh my
like,
gosh.
this has been, I mean, and we know from the trial, the history of the, his, John O'Keefe, let's remind everyone that he was raising his sister's
Oh yeah, yeah.
children.
Listen, stand up guy. Of
Stand-up
course.
guy.
Of course.
Like,
Of course. Of course.
and it's like, there's that travesty of justice. And then there's this, this
Alleged.
travesty of justice with, well, regardless, we don't know,
Yeah.
we don't know what happened. There was no proper investigation.
No, I'm saying
Like,
the. I mean,
yeah.
because I would call what happened to Karen Reed an alleged travesty of justice. That if all of this bears out, I mean,
Well, I mean, we don't even have to say alleged. He was on the stand saying not the part about what she thinks
exactly.
happened in the frame up and stuff, but just like
He
the
read his
the
own
abuse
words.
of
Yes.
power, the completely like I'm going to destroy her and I think that's why the crowd is like this huge crowd was supporting her and did for all these trials because it's like she had the resources, thankfully, to do something about this. A
Yeah.
lot of people, if she was in a different
Or they're
socioeconomic
intimidated, or they're
background,
worried about going broke, paying lawyers. Right. Of course. Of course.
yeah, like she or a person of color, she would be behind bars now.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that this case, they are going to pay. They're going to
Yes.
get a huge, she's going to get a huge
Huge.
payout no matter
Well, the
what.
cops have to know that they're fucked and refucked on this one, just because
Oh,
you'll hear
yeah.
in the break, the edited episode leading up to the break, um, you go on this run reading from the report of everything that they failed to do, the procedural norms that were just completely ignored
Mm,
because
hmm
obviously they don't say why, but because they were protecting someone, they were protecting their own,
hmm
right? How no evidence was collected. People were allowed in the house. This didn't happen. And like it was like 11 or 12 things that were completely done wrong by a
Yeah.
group of cops that knew better.
hmm hmm I mean,
And
that whole thing with the Sally port, I know that was confusing, but it's like they inverted the cameras so it looked
yeah,
like,
but
and
just
it's
stuff
like,
like a car was moved so people driving by couldn't see what they were doing.
I know, I
Like
know.
that shit is oh my gosh. And how someone knew, oh hey, she cracked a taillight when she was leaving, but we can use that and make it worse and bring, and for me it's always been how long for a body to die in the cold. Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Have you
hmm
ever Googled that?
hmm I unfortunately my search history is pretty scary. Like
Sure, I've got some
but
weird ones in mind too because of the work we do, but
hmm
take the
No,
word.
it's like the what is that saying about a coincidence? Like it's just and then what I didn't include in there was that two of the guys in the house they like destroyed their phones. They freaking totally destroyed them.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about like, justice for John O'Keefe of like, well, if you want justice for him, why are you destroying phones?
Yeah, yeah,
Why are
because
you
they
guys
don't.
talking and having these side conversations? Like, why are you, doing all this stuff? You
Because it's
know?
a big stroke job. That's why. And they're hiding something and they thought that they could scapegoat Karen Reed and that everyone would believe them. It's the hubris and it's the protect the badge, thin blue line fucking horse shit,
Mm-hmm. No, I
That
know
makes
it's truly frightening.
that makes all these cops look bad. It's man, and
I
and
mean,
then
I
so
think
I
that,
go to because I have cops in my family, right? And they're really, really good people. But it makes you think about, what if what's been gotten away with? And that is, oh man, it's got to be so much dirty shit. So much dirty shit that's happened that they've been able to make disappear because of their badges and their influence.
well, that's the thing about that. That's not going to happen here. I
Not
mean,
here.
everybody, everybody's dirty laundry is going up on that clothesline, and it's like, there's no escaping it because, she's taken it all the way, and hats off to her, because this has to be so incredibly stressful. Like, can you imagine that? can you imagine the level of stress that she's been through in terms of this whole thing,
Do you think
like
still?
not knowing.
I think there's that second acquittal was a big relief of her stress, and now she's
It
on
was,
the
but
offensive.
she has the John O'Keefe family has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against her. So she's
Oh,
got
right.
that,
Right.
and
But now she's taking the offensive. That's got to empower her a little bit.
yeah, but she's going after some really powerful people,
Yep.
you know?
Good for her. And,
I
I mean,
know.
the pro bono lawyers are lining up. They're lining up.
Well, I think I mean, I think that for all of the people, like I was watching the video of when she got the not guilty and the way that she was hugging her attorneys, each one, it was like, this is personal for them all. Like one of them was crying, tears streaming down. Like, and I have
Years
to,
of money. Like,
you know,
oh, we're going to sue them and I get a third.
okay, no, no, seriously, like this has been so dirty.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Of
it's
course.
been so dirty where they haven't given I mean, the small little taste of where I can relate to this is that, when you're trying to get these documents and they figure out all these ways to not give them to you, and they've
Yeah.
had to keep going back, like the cocktail glass on the edge of you know, on the edge of her SUV, and like
Yeah.
it came from multiple different glasses that had nothing to do with the one that he was carrying. And
Yeah.
fortunately, they said, "Hey, we want this. We have the resources. We want this tested." And if they would, it's just another chip. And if
Yep.
you were just a regular Joe Blow person, you would not be able to have the resources to afford to do that.
Can you imagine just how these people are feeling on the other side? Just caught fucking red-handed with all of this shit. Just
I think they're
caught.
going to continue to do what they've always done, which is act like she's crazy, she's this, she's that, because that's what works. It's worked for so long, and people are just like, because I think that, they've tried to villainize her. They've tried to do that.
Right.
And 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 if you listen to her interviews, she's been criticized in some of her interviews because she's got a certain personality type. And it's
Yeah.
like, so anyway, I just
Yeah.
think they're going to continue that mantra. They're going to continue to act like, she, whatever. They're going to attack her personally.
Sure,
I
but
just think
listen,
that
get them in
that's,
front of a jury of their peers with the roles reversed and then see what
hmm
happens. And like
hmm
you mentioned early in the episode about how the burden of proof is different between criminal and civil, because I knew this growing up watching the People's Court, right? Civil matters, it's a preponderance of the evidence.
Gosh, what was that judge's name again?
Uh
Wapner.
Judge Wapner, yes.
Judge
And the court
Wapner.
reporter was Doug Llewellyn. Remember that. And Wapner would always say it's a preponderance of the evidence, and 51-49, that's enough. It's enough,
Oh my
you know?
God, that's so funny.
Wapner. Yeah.
Wapner. The
Yeah.
fact that you knew Llewellyn, who was like holding the gate.
Yeah.
Dun dun
Dun, dun,
dun.
dun. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want to hear something funny? My
Yeah.
my wife's late father, the late great Roy Bataccio, from money earning Mount Vernon, New York, just north of the city, um, had two best friends growing up, two just kids from the street, right? It was all Jewish Italian neighborhood, and they all went into New York, and they went in kind of different directions. They all stayed really really tight. Um, and Roy went into music. His friend Stu went into production, and then another guy went into also into production. They all wind up in LA. And Stu wound up creating a show called The People's Court. His name was Stu Billett, a Ralph Edwards Stu Billett production, which you hear at the end of every freaking episode still. And he died several years ago. But that was his one show. And that's really like all he ever had to do.
So Stu was your father-in-law's friend.
Best friend for 70 years. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
cool.
and so, you see just, the girls, my wife and her sister, had like hundreds of like just swag like people's court t-shirts and like the satin leather jackets from the 80s, right? Or like lunch boxes. There's any people's court merch that there ever was, they
Oh,
had
that's
boxes of
awesome.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's where I learned about the preponderance of the evidence from Wapner.
Hmm.
And so that's all that they need in the civil matter. And God, there's got to be, they're going to get, they're going to get screwed there. And I just hope that it turns into criminal charges against these guys. I hope there's enough evidence of a cover up that
Mm.
that they get
Well,
them.
let's make a wager. What do you think that they're going to ask for a settlement?
100 million
Mm.
is what I
I
think,
think,
because they're going after the state, right? They're
yeah.
not going after them individually. They're going out because I'm sure there's some indemnification when you become a police officer, but this would also probably, make them lose their qualified immunity. So they could probably she'll get their pensions probably, you know, and I bet it's the state, it's the police department, it's them individually. I think they're just going to go after everything.
Yeah.
I think
So
they're gonna go
I bet 170 million.
170, huh?
170.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the bigger story, I think that's going to happen, and then I think the bigger story is that they're going to be lobbying a prosecutor or a assistant district attorney or something.
Mhm.
There'll be a grand jury impaneled, and I bet that there'll be indictments.
Hmm. Maybe your grandma will be on it.
She, okay, yeah, from beyond the grave, they'll a medium will ask her, "What do you think of this evidence, Dorothy Morgan?" Uh, so
She's
weird. I
like
wonder.
a secret grand jury for 20
For
years.
20
Nobody.
years and what took it to her grave, like she never told anybody, like that's who you want on a grand jury, I guess,
I
someone you could
know.
trust. But geez, throw us something. I bet she was on some huge cases.
Uh-huh. Well, you know what? You would have made a podcast out of it if
I
she would
totally
still
would
be.
have. I would have outed her like in a second.
I
In a
know.
second.
I know. But to your point, they're going to be presenting a lot of evidence that didn't make it in. So it'll be
Yeah,
really interesting to see what evidence they collected from the house,
right.
the many ridges that were in the garage or in the house that could have been what anyway, it'll be interesting to see what
The
they come
most
up with.
interesting evidence, not the most interesting, but another interesting piece of evidence for me is the elevation changes in the cell phone stuff. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'd love some like an Apple expert to come in and explain exactly, here's how the phone was
Mm-hmm.
designed, here's what it reads, here's exactly what it
Mm-hmm.
means. And all
Yeah.
that shit would come up if
You know,
in a
what
criminal.
I hope happens is that if somebody flips.
Oh, that'll happen. Jeez, I didn't even think about that. Oh, who's gonna flip? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
someone will totally
Mm-hmm.
flip, cut a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
Mm-hmm.
prosecutors. Oh my gosh, they got to be so excited about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're now the prosecutor. She's now the prosecution and they're the
Yes, absolutely.
defendants.
It flips. And the good thing
Mm-hmm.
is that she's not sitting on this house of cards of lies and deception and cover-ups, you know? They
Mm-hmm.
will have just solid evidence backing it up. Like the
Mm-hmm.
glass. Explain, cops in this house, why this broken glass is from a bunch of different, like different glasses that contributed to this
Mm-hmm.
alleged, uh, the only answer is because get some broken glass and put it here. That's it.
That's the level. That's what I was thinking too. Like we always talk about criminals who make mistakes, and here are the quote unquote experts
Yeah,
who like got so wrapped up in their own bullshit that they're
they
like, you
were
know what? I'm just gonna crack this. She's screwed.
they were
Like he
shit-faced.
said,
They were
she's
shit
screwed.
they were shit-faced. You have to add the alcohol aspect of this, right? So they were drunk and therefore, stupid, but braver than they should have been, thinking that they know everything, right? In vino veritas, okay, it reveals what your character really is. So, oh, we can do this, and she's screwed, and then they
You got
wake
a
up
really
hungover the
good
next
drunk
morning.
voice.
They wake up hungover the next morning, going, "Oh fuck, what did we do? What did we do?"
I don't think they ever went to bed. They knew what they did as they were doing it.
There's got to be a sober in the
how long
morning.
to die in the snow. Like you don't, it's like all the things that they thought they could, that they were going to be smarter and that they were going to plan this if it plays
If it
out like what
allegedly,
they
right?
think. Yeah, I mean, it's just, it's like I'm surprised people haven't flipped already, even
I-
if it's not true, but just to get out of whatever is coming their way,
You have to think
because
that there
whoever,
was a sober moment, a moment of clarity where they're like, man, we didn't think of everything. Right? Like, what did we miss? How do we get our story straight? That was another thing that you mentioned in that run, that they had time to,
mm,
that they got their story straight. They
mhm,
weren't questioned. They weren't allowed to be questioned. Didn't have exposure to any investigators like for hours. Let's get our
mhm,
story straight. No one was allowed in the house for a long time, so they could destroy whatever evidence they wanted. Um, but I'm sure they know, being cops for as long as they were, that mistakes were made. And
yeah, but
it's
I think that they felt like they weren't going to be questioned too. There in every single scenario we keep talking about, it comes down to the fact that they're like, we're covered.
yeah.
Bro,
Yeah. Don't
we
worry,
are
bro. I
covered.
got you, dude. Boom. Thin blue line. Bunch of
And
bullshit.
like I know, and it's disgusting. And it's like, it's just it's hard to think in this day and age that this shit still happens, but we know that it does. I mean, I was just at a meeting at an agency. I'm not going to say what it was, but like one of these guys kept saying, referring to this expert, and he was calling her, he kept saying a chick, and I was like, what is he
Oof.
talking? What is he talking? Is he talking about
A baby
her?
bird?
No, he's talking about this
Um,
like amazing expert, a woman who's this profiler, and he kept referring to her as a chick. And I was like,
Wow.
I just kind of was like, and I know that it happened, so please don't hear this and think, oh, well, she's fucking clueless. I'm not. It's just that when, it's usually more under the surface, when,
Was
you
it
know
an
what I
older,
mean?
was it an older person? Because I have a good friend whose grandfather's still alive and sweet, sweet guy. But he
No,
refers
he
to
he was not
African,
an he
he
was, I
refers
would
to
say,
African Americans as coloreds and like Latino people as ethnics. I'm like, yo, dude, no. Sorry. That's not fucking what you say. Come on. But this wasn't an old person where you can say, oh, it's no.
no, but it was just the way that he said it. Like, I just was like,
It's disrespect. It's
why
stupid
are you
and it
saying this?
exposes. Yeah.
It's like, do you not know? Like, do you not know?
Was he trying to impress you, maybe?
I have no idea. I was kind of clueless because I kept it. He said it once, and then I just kind of was like, maybe I misheard him because I was
Yeah.
across. And then he said it again, and I'm like,
Did you call him out?
I didn't.
Damn. I would have called him out.
Yeah.
I would have blown it up. Yeah. I have daughters.
Well, okay. Way to just fucking knife me in the
I
back.
wouldn't have said anything. You know me. I would have just sat there and I would have made
I
fun of
was
him.
letting you have your moment, but like at my expense.
I would
But
have made the
honestly,
entire meeting really uncomfortable for him. That's how I would have gotten back. I would have started doing stupid shit.
well,
But
it was almost over, and then it was just
yeah.
like when I finally. Anyway, I don't want to go. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I just was
No,
like,
but I
I
hear you.
think
But it's where does
it's
someone like that get the whatever societal permission to speak like that? Like why does he think that that's okay? Like why do these
but
cops think that this was okay, allegedly to frame and scapegoat a woman that would have ruined her life,
they
completely
didn't
ruined
give
her
a
life?
shit about her. They were gleefully
Yeah.
wanting her to go down for
And why do
this.
they think that that's okay?
I know.
Right.
It
That's the
it's like
prime.
I think that's the thing. Like
Yeah.
they just thought they could do whatever the fuck they wanted. And that's why people are like this, people are out there cheering and stuff like that because
Yeah.
like there's a lot of change hopefully that's going to come from this.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Unfortunately,
Watch out for
you
police
know,
reform. Yeah. I guess it was supposed to have happened in LA after Rodney King. I don't know, but it usually takes something crazy like this to really shake things up, you know. But we'll see what happens
yeah.
with the suit and with, that's really exciting that you brought up someone's going to flip. I think you're right in that That'll be great. And then watch them all fall. Because you know they're all lawyered up, and each lawyer saying, you should really think about flipping. They're like, oh, dude, blue line. Some fucked up cop omerta that, but one of them will crack.
Okay, well, we will keep you posted.
Yes, we will keep you posted. Because imagine what the cops are thinking. Man, you're going to send me to jail with a bunch of people that I put away. What do you think that's going to be like for them? That's who will crack. Yeah.
Oh, so Proctor?
Yeah. That piece of shit. Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, hey, I'm not anti-cop. I love cops. Like I said, I have cops in my family. I'm just bad cops are so destructive and so dangerous. And if, allegedly, it feels like we're dealing with a bunch of bad apples up there in Massachusetts. So, I hope they get their day in court, and hope they get a rigorous defense, and that they're judged as we all would be, jury of our peers. So.
Yep.
And also, fuck that guy for how he talked about Carrie Reid over text. All right. Well, hey, Nation, enjoyed the show. Share it with a friend. Great stuff to listen to over Thanksgiving.
By your lonesome.
But seriously, make sure you're following the show, and we're trying to grow the audience. So please share it with friends, and make sure you're following, and leave comments and reviews. Every little engagement helps us out. Carolyn, anything you'd like to add?
Nope. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe out there. Bye.
Bye.
From Pie in the Sky Media, Criminal Mischief is an EVO production, recorded live in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. We're produced by Brandon Morgan and myself, music by Soundstripe. For EVO Creative, I'm Carolyn Osorio, your writer and host.